and actually work together. Or we've had a lot of referrals. Our current members or previous members have brought on then new members, friends of theirs, etc., or colleagues. So it really just, as with you guys know, as with any networking event, it's not like you show up and then everybody's going to come to you and give you their card, right? You get out of it what you put into it, and that's very similar here.
There's been a statistic going around for a few years that by the year 2040, the largest corporations on earth will only employ about 1,500 people each. And everybody else is essentially going to be a consultant going from project to project.
Wow.
It sounds like you're already seeing sort of a transition to that with these remote workers from larger companies. They're really working on their own, but they're still an employee.
Yes, yes, and some of them are actually contractors. Yes, that's so interesting. I had not actually heard that statistic. I obviously knew about the trend towards co-working for the sake of real estate. It is now kind of this transitionary tool or resource for organizations that want to scale but aren't at the level where they could take on large chunks of real estate yet. So there's more, there certainly is more of a trend towards that versus the big leap to a 3 to 5 year lease, which was Starbucks for a 3 to 5 year lease, right? Beforehand, and now kind of co-working spaces are a little bit in the middle there. But that is really interesting how there might be an even greater transition towards, the gig economy that certainly correlates there, and having less on the books employees and more 1099. That's interesting.
And that is something that, interesting what you just brought up is the opportunities for companies through co-working spaces where, when you're very small, people work out of their living rooms, maybe you get together in somebody's garage, but there comes a time when you've grown past that, but you're really not large enough to rent out, on a 3 to 5 year lease, as you said. So this really does give smaller companies that opportunity to grow that was more difficult. And that barrier to growth was one of the reasons why so many small businesses fail. So co-working is actually giving them that opportunity to grow at their pace and actually overcome that barrier.
Yeah, there's an important legitimacy. It's all about perception still, and as much as we sometimes hate that and want to surpass that, business is very much about perception, same as any facet of life. And so legitimizing your business by having a physical space to meet in, outside of a Starbucks, any of that, whether that is, translates here to a member, even having a part-time desk with some conference room hours that they can have clients meet with them in a conference room in a beautiful space. That's an up level for them. Then upon that, we're going to have a private office space as a number of other spaces do at our new location. And that, getting past that sort of solopreneur phase into, maybe you have a small team and then you have an office that is only yours at a space like ours. And that's another up level of legitimacy. And that can be more or less important at various stages depending on the type of business that you're in. Of course, legal, finance, those things tend to be, having an office tend to be a lot more expected of various clients. But you're right, having that kind of intermediary place for them to kind of hop. And that's the thing too, I think of it this way. I honestly can't speak for others, other co-working operators, but I hope to see sort of my members take that kind of path, where they enter, they come and they meet with me and they're like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be a pinch for me starting out as a side hustler to do $100 a month. But let's do it. And, and then a year later, they're doing their thing. Maybe they went full-time into their side hustle and now they want to up level a little bit because they're going to be here, going to be meeting with clients, etc. then, okay, well, they hired an assistant or another, team member, a coordinator or such, and now they need an office space for the team. And then someday, again, depending on the trajectory of their business, I hope that they grow out of even that. And they then can take on, real estate, a 3 to 5 year lease in a larger facility. That that would be a dream, honestly, because that means that we're making the impact that we want to in the local economy.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned that you're moving into a new space, larger space. You've been growing fairly fast. So, can you tell us a little bit about the growing pains that you've had, and how quickly you're growing, and what you plan to do with that growth?
Sure. So yes, right now, like I said, we are in a about 2,000 square foot facility in the center of West Hartford. The location has been wonderful for uh, the early stages of the business. But as we've grown, again, we're now up to about 30 members. With honestly, I got like two more this week, so actually let's log that at 32. Um, so we need more space for desks. I mean, just straight out for desks. But as I mentioned, there are a variety of types of memberships in our space and other co-working spaces that we wanted to also include. Office space is key. So if a co-working space can kind of get past that initial, same trajectories that we hope our own members take. We are primarily desk-based co-working here. In our larger space, our next space, which is going to be at 430 New Park, the other side of town, we're moving there in September. We're going to be taking on a 4,100 square feet and change. That will grow our membership levels and amenities to include private office space, additional meeting room space, its own separate kind of locked room for our dedicated desk members. Again, these are people that leave their things there every day. So we haven't had a problem here, but just having that extra layer of security, that small, tight-knit community of the folks that are there every day will be wonderful. We're going to have our own parking lot, free parking. That is the one drawback, one of a few drawbacks of being, in the center of West Hartford. We have
that'll cut people's costs in half.
Say that again?
I said that'll cut people's costs in half. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Because we actually facilitate the purchase of parking passes in one of the decks back here, and it's $100 a month for the parking pass. I mean, when our dedicated desk membership is $325 a month. So that's a huge cost savings, again, to remain affordable. So we're really, really excited about that. But it's in, a larger kind of office building with some really great partners that we're excited to be, working with. The building is actually owned by the Greater Hartford Association of Realtors. They purchased that building 2 years ago now and have gutted it. I mean, it is gorgeous. Beautiful new lobby, landscaping, the whole bit. So we are occupying the first floor. It is an accessible space, which was also very important to us because our current space is not. And I've been embarrassed to have to say that we have had to turn away some folks that were either injured, like we had a member or two injured and couldn't get up the stairs, grandfathered building, couldn't get upstairs, or people that wanted to attend some of our events and were in a wheelchair. And so with those, I took those situations to heart and needed our next space to be accessible, and I'm happy to say that it is. So, oh God, what else? I mean, there's going to be a little kitchen cafe, a lounge, which I'm really excited about. Doesn't want to work on a fluffy couch every once in a while. And we'll also have a larger kind of that flexible event space in the interior so that we can host much larger events than we have been able to here. At most we've stuffed 40 people in our community space here. And people were sitting on the windowsill. So we can accommodate about 75 to 80 people pretty comfortably in the next space for events as well. So we're really, really excited about again, adding these new amenities and membership levels, and continuing to grow the community.
Fantastic. So, assuming all goes as you've planned, what's next? What would you like to do with West Hartford Co-working?
Oh my God. I need to better prepare for that question, Eric. In all honesty, and I've had some interesting conversations of late. I would say, I'll be honest with you, I can't imagine us in this area, in going into this new facility. I can't imagine us growing and needing much more space for this market than we do right now. I think we're going to pretty well, we're going to get settled. We're going to grow more into that space, and we're going to get pretty well saturated, because though there are more and more, co-working places popping up. And I've become friendly with a variety of them. We're really excited about the trend towards it in the area. But again, it's not a major metro market. So I think growing too quickly, as far as one location is concerned, is not the way to go. It's what's the next city, the next small town, honestly, that we should go to, and do the same thing again. Go, real small, 1,000 square feet to start, but another location further enough away that it won't cannibalize our business here. So that's sort of where I'm looking on the horizon.
Nice. All right, we're just about coming up on the end of our time. So, Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway for today?
Well, first of all, congratulations on your growth and your move. But co-working, it solves so many issues for so many different business people, and really everybody has their own unique issues, whether it's space or whether it's needing to have a meeting or whether it's remote working and that kind of thing. So there's so many different things that you folks can cover. So, I mean, my big takeaway is I would just check it out and give you a call to see what the different options are, because there are so many different things to do. But congrats again on your growth. And obviously I think co-working is just tipping the iceberg as far as where it's going. And I know you see that too.
Yes. No, thank you. I appreciate that. And actually, I'll little shameless plug, as far as checking us out. If you want to email us directly at hello@wehaworks, WEHA works.com, where any of your listeners, would be happy to provide them with 1 week of free co-working. So.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think the big takeaway for me is that these co-working spaces offer such a fantastic opportunity to grow your business. There's only so much you can do from your living room or garage, especially when you're doing it alone and, need to be out there and meeting with other people. So this gives entrepreneurs and remote workers a fantastic alternative, especially to a loud Starbucks. And it certainly allows people to put forth a much more professional image.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And
of course, thank you.
You gave an email, but is there a website that people can go to get more information?
Yes, absolutely. You can go to www.westhartfordcoworking.com.
Great. And I encourage all of our listeners in the area to check it out. You've been listening to The Success Showcase. You can catch us every week at xvadio.com/podcasts. You can also find us on the iTunes Store, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. See you then.